Hello YouTube, this is Ryan, aka the Habitual Line Stepper, back at you with another video. I hope you're at peace. I hope you're not. If you're not at peace, I hope you're actively, relentlessly, aggressively pursuing your peace. I want to talk about the power of the pivot. Um, this morning, I went to the gym. Ready to get my workout in. Saturday mornings, like to get there early and get my weight training in. And the power started to go out in the building, and basically we were asked to leave so they can figure out what's going on, and for us to basically wait. Well, I decided that I was not going to wait. I was going to go to a gym about a couple of more miles up the road and just finish my workout there. Even though I like this gym, I prefer this gym because it's a bigger gym, has more equipment, it's more spacious. I just like the layout of the gym. But I decided, no, I'm not going to wait, because I don't know how long it's going to take them to get that power on. So I decided to go to another gym that was smaller, but it got the job done. The reason why I brought this up is just a small example of having a pivot. Because I had my routine set, it didn't work out that way. I wasn't going home. That wasn't an option. I was like, you know what? I came to work out. I'm going to work out. This is what I love to do, for a lot of reasons. And there's power in that. There's power in being able to provide yourself with options and be able to pivot from something that just didn't work out. Some people don't believe in a plan B. Some people say, you know what, I'm going all in on this plan A. I'm going to ride with it till the wheels fall off. That is a dangerous game, in my humble opinion, because often your plan A is not going to work out. It's just not. Your plan A is just, it can, on rare occasions work out. But I believe that there's always going to be some tweaks, something you're going to have to do that's going to have to be different from what the original plan was, because that's life. Life is uncertain. There's a lot of factors in there that we can't control, and you have got to prepare yourself for the pivot. Because if you don't, then you're just stuck on a failed plan that's never going to hit the reality that you were hoping for. So you got to pivot. And so in my life, I've had to pivot quite a few times, because as a young person, you have these hopes, you have these dreams that things are going to work out a specific type of way. And I found out that didn't happen. And I was, you get frustrated because, you think things should be easier than what they are. Things should be pretty simple. If I do A, B, and C, then I'm going to get 1, 2, and 3. But it doesn't happen that way. So you have to be able to modify your thinking and your plan, and you can still get to your goal, but it may not be the same pathway that you thought it was going to be. Oftentimes, like I said, we get tunnel vision, and that's all we think about is just our pathway to get to where we need to get to, through hell or high water. And like I said, when things come up and trip you up, that's basically the end of that plan, because you didn't think of anything contingent. You didn't have a backup. What happens when this goes wrong? You didn't think that far ahead. When you pivot, when you have the power of the pivot, sometimes you be in an even better situation than what you thought of originally, because you got new information. Maybe that obstacle that popped up in place really was used to deter you to a certain degree, but also to detour you to a better pathway to where you want to get to. Oftentimes this comes up in like conflicts with someone or something in your schedule. Sometimes it comes into running into the right person, who happens to give you a little bit of information that you didn't have prior, and you're like, dang, you know what? That was some good information. I didn't think of it like that. Let me change my my course of action here, and let me go ahead and do this instead. There's power in that. There's a lot of power in that. You don't There's a lot of things you don't have to deal with if you have the power of a pivot. If you can pivot yourself out of a bad situation, that's valuable in itself. You're into an argument or you're into a disagreement with somebody, and rather than further engage in that, which most likely most arguments don't really go anywhere because you're talking about two different people with two different perspectives and two different objectives. They're never going to see eye to eye. And rather than engage in an argument that could wind up being something like an altercation, it's good to pivot. Why fight a battle when you don't have to? Pick your battles. You can pivot from that situation. Like, you know what? It ain't even that serious. You can go ahead. You can get that. Ain't nothing wrong with taking an L every now and then. Especially if that if you can minimize the damage that you trying to engage and get that win, and which really turn out to look like a loss because you've lost so much time and you've taken on so much damage just to get a W that no one really cares about, not even yourself. You just want to win an argument or win a fight, which, like I said, you're not getting any trophies, you're not getting anything, but you just, for some reason your ego took over and now you got to win, and most likely you've got an enemy that you didn't necessarily have to have. So pivoting from situations often helps. When it comes to some people's lifestyles, some people like these elaborate lifestyles, these lavish lifestyles. They want to, spend all this money, and then you find out, wait a minute, now this isn't something I want to do because I never have any money. I don't have any savings. I don't have any money just in case something happens. I don't have any money to invest in my future. I can't take an opportunity in this project because I had this mindset that, having things is more important than anything. And when you pivot from that idea and say, you know what, nah, I want to have something, to stand on. I want to have something, of value at the end of this. I work all the time, I run my business or what have you, and I still, don't have anything. I want to have something. So you pivot that idea. The next thing you know, you have money. You have some status. You have some savings, you have some investments, you have some things to buffer you against those things that are, those events that may cost you money. You have money for opportunity. One thing you'll find is I will speak on money on quite a few occasions because I do believe money does answer a lot of things. A lot of things. And it's important. And so when you pivot your mindset from a consumer mindset to that of an investor, a opportunist when it comes to good ventures that may come your way, but you need money in order to enter them. These are good pivots. You have to allow yourself options so you can be in positions that are better for you. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. Some people call it flip flopping. Well, you don't really know. No, it's called growth. It's called growth. Life is constantly giving you information. It's a cumulative thing. What you thought as a child, you no longer think of as an adult. So if people call you a flip flopper, well, people flip floppers ever since they were kids then, because you do gain knowledge. You do as you grow up through life. Let me say this: you should be gaining knowledge. You should be gaining experiences that help you grow and evolve from that of a child who knew nothing of the world, the experiences, the good, the bad. These things add to your perspective, add to your processing, and so you move away from those things who no longer serve you. You should gravitate towards those things that are more, that enhances your knowledge, enhances your spirit, your experience on this earth. And so when you learn how to pivot from a situation that did not work the way you thought it was going to work, or the way you had planned it out. You may have written out a whole plan, and this is how I'm going to do it, and all this other stuff. When you have the power to pivot, you give yourself agility. You're able to move more freely in your decision making. You realize that this is not necessarily etched in stone. I do have the ability to make these moves just in case something pops in my way. You want to be able to go. You want to be able to traverse these obstacles that are in your way, because they're going to happen, and you might as well prepare yourself just in case things don't work out. And another thing, you may have a certain way or a certain goal that you're looking at. A certain lifestyle that you're looking for, a certain how can I say, a certain venture that you're looking at. But oftentimes when you get there, I won't say often, sometimes when you get there, it's not what you thought it was going to be. It's not going to be as great as you thought it was going to be. You may even change your mind as you gain more knowledge in terms of what it is you're trying to attain. And then you're like, well, it's not really what I would like to do. Now that I know this, it's not quite what I had in mind. And I really don't feel the way I did prior to knowing what I just learned. So you decide, I'm going to pivot and do something else. Which again, if you allow yourself opportunity and contingencies, you give yourself the agility to go from, okay, this idea that no longer serves you, to a better idea that more fits what you're trying to do. Life is, like I said, life is not a straight line. Life does not go like this. Life is more like this. And if you're lucky, and if you plan right, hopefully it's going like this in an upward fashion, and not a downward fashion, So you allow yourself to learn the power of the pivot. Learn the power of being able to look at information, look at your situation, look at those things that come up in life, and assess them, and say, you know what, this new thing that I learned is worth looking into, and it's worth tweaking my plan a little bit. And sometimes it's a pretty significant pivot where it's just completely a 180 from what you were trying to do. And that's okay, because again, this life is for living. This life is for experiencing things. And until you experience some things, you're not going to really have a good base to kind of jump from. You're going to have a limited base. When you allow yourself a bigger base, you can get a better footing. And so I know when I started, for instance, this is just one example. Don't come at me. But it's like when it's like traveling. When I started traveling, I should say before I started traveling, I had a certain mindset of how the world ran. I'm thinking that my country, the United States of America, has it all figured out, and the rest of the countries need to catch up to us. That was my thought before I began traveling, that we were the ones who always had it together, and that everybody else was lacking in terms of what we were doing here. And then I began traveling, and I found out how ignorant that mindset was, because I realized that although they're different from the U.S. in some regard, there was plenty of things that they were better at. There was plenty of things that they were better at. The lifestyle, the culture, what their value system was. their appreciation for their country, how a lot of them would never even imagine moving out of their country, how much they love their country, how they were real patriots of their country. That citizenship and that countryman, it meant something to them. And so, and having, and because when I travel, I like to indulge in the culture, the food, the people. You know, I like to just immerse myself in it. And I found that, hey, these people, this they really had changed my whole mindset in terms of what I thought I knew. So I had to pivot from some ignorant thoughts that I had. And a lot of us have ignorant thoughts because we haven't experienced anything. We stay within ourselves and we think, well, what we know is what's 100% right. And we have no other experiences to kind of challenge us to, make us pivot from those, ignorant thoughts. And the more I experience this life, at 51, just in case I don't think I ever shared that with you guys, but at 51, the more I realize what I don't know or what I didn't know. But with me, I'm open to knowing what I don't know, growing from that, learning from that. And yeah. So, with that being said, um, guys, learn the power of the pivot. Learn the power of be able to open your mind to other ways of doing things, other information, new information. Be able to be in a situation that may not be optimal for you, may not be the best situation. Something may happen where that situation is no longer a good thing, and be able to pivot to something better. Allow yourself that agility, that freedom of movement. Don't be stuck on one way of thinking, one narrow sightedness where you're like, okay, this is the option I'm taking. This is the only way I'm going. Open up your mind. So with that being said, if you got anything from this video, please like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm trying to reach out. I want you guys to interact. If you have some comments and you say, hey Ryan, this isn't right. Hey, this is this is where your thinking's flawed. I'm open to it. If you like it, say you love it. Just like I said, I just want to grow, and I want to get to know my I almost said fans. Oh my God, my subscriber base. But that being said, peace over everything. Let's get it.